Women played a central role in Colombia's recent peace accord. In a historic first for the country, women's rights are placed at the heart of the agreement.
Colombia has signed a peace accord ending the longest armed conflict in the Western Hemisphere. But the wounds of war are far from healed. 60 years of fighting has claimed the lives of over 200,000 people and forced millions from their homes. Women were systematically targeted and endured decades of kidnappings, torture, and sexual violence. But they also emerged as central actors in the peace negotiations. Women fought for a seat at the peace table and helped expose the full extent of the war's devastating impact on their lives.
Nosotras las mujeres hemos sufrido en todo el contexto. Se sufrió la violencia sexual, se sufrió el exterminio de mujeres, el asesinato de mujeres. Nos han convertido en como ese botín de guerra para los hombres.
Deborah Barros is a lawyer and human rights activist from the indigenous Wayuu community in Valle Portete on Colombia's northern coast. The Wayuu are Colombia's largest indigenous group. In 2004, paramilitaries attacked Deborah's village, seeking to expel the community from its ancestral homeland.
Aquí en Portete hace 12 años hubo una masacre, asesinaron mujeres, acabaron con las casas, hicieron una cantidad de vejámenes horribles que hicieron que la comunidad se desplazara hacia Venezuela. Mi vida cambió porque en ese momento comencé a ser amenazada, comencé a tener mucho miedo, a temblar, pero me convertí en una mujer fuerte.
Despite repeated threats on her life, Deborah emerged as an outspoken leader for victims of the conflict. She created an organization called Women Weaving Peace, seeking justice for victims of violence and human rights abuses.
Comenzamos a hacer actividades, de que la gente pudiera hacer su propio duelo, que la gente contara su historia, que la gente pudiera hacer un recorrido en las comunidades, mirar las casas de los fallecidos. Cada relato, cada historia a mí me marcó mucho, a mí me dio más fuerza para seguir adelante y poder lograr el objetivo final, que es la paz.
Yo creo que un elemento importante es el elemento de transformación del dolor, o sea, cómo transformar esos dolores en otra cosa, cómo transformar el miedo, cómo unir el miedo para poder hacerle frente a eso, ¿cierto?
Bibiana Peñaranda is an activist from Buenaventura on Colombia's Pacific coast. The city is home to hundreds of thousands of Afro-Colombians displaced by the conflict.
Lo que buscamos es el acceso también de las mujeres a esos espacios institucionales que por miedo no se llegan. O sea, nosotras estamos transformando el concepto de poder.
Colombian women have been extremely active and they have really become a very powerful political voice for resistance but also for transformation.
Belén Sanz is the UN Women representative in Colombia.
The peace process was announced publicly in October 2012. At that time, only men were plenipotentiary negotiators, or those who really take decisions in the table. Women's movements called together about 500 women from all parts of Colombia. They were together for 3 days. They had the support of UN Women and the international community, and they advocated very strongly for having women present in the peace talks table. And as a result of this very strong push, the President of Colombia announced the nomination of 2 women plenipotentiary within the negotiators. So we started to see a change there.
Following the president's announcement, negotiators requested that victims travel to Havana so that both sides could hear the testimonies of those most impacted by the war. Belén Sanz was among those who accompanied the victims.
60% of the victims who visited Havana were women, and women from all diverse origins of Colombia, and women who had been victims of different forms of human rights violations, including sexual violence, which was put forward as a key element.
Cuando yo estuve en La Habana, Cuba, para mí, como mujer, como indígena y como víctima, fue algo importante porque realmente desde ahí podría dar mis aportes, mi lucha, mi resistencia, todo lo que yo había luchado como defensora y como mujer dentro de un escenario histórico para Colombia.
O un éxito de las mujeres es haber constituido la Comisión de Género, ¿cierto? Estar allí, hablar y tener voz propia como mujeres. Creo que ha sido uno de los elementos pues, importantes de estos diálogos. Que se tenga en cuenta el enfoque de mujer y el enfoque de género en los documentos, que salga escrito, que se mencione ya, ¿sí? Que toda la gente esté diciendo cómo van las mujeres, cómo se va a reparar a las mujeres, cómo las mujeres estamos aportando, ¿cierto? Que se tengan en cuenta todas las múltiples violencias que viven las mujeres.
Eso es un primer paso para poder lograr la paz.
In most of the world, road traffic has increased massively in recent years, but protection for pedestrians don't always keep pace. In the Republic of Georgia, a new campaign is focusing on pedestrian power.
Tbilisi, the capital of Georgia, home to 1.4 million people. The city's architecture reflects the country's past as part of the Soviet Union. Georgia gained independence in 1991 and is now striving to become a member of the European Union. But it is still a country in transition. The Tbilisi-based pedestrian rights organisation, Iare Pakit, is working to promote the rights of pedestrians in Georgia. In Georgia and other Soviet states, the United Nations Democracy Fund, UNDEF, supports the transition to democracy by funding local civil society organisations such as Iare Pakit.
This is not a project about road safety. This is a project about giving people power, particularly pedestrian power. It's about putting people at the centre of society rather than cars.
In recent years, the volume of traffic on the streets of Tbilisi has grown at an alarming rate. Legislation to meet the increased road use hasn't moved at the same pace. The majority of people don't own cars, but pedestrians, including the elderly and people with disabilities, are never given priority on the streets. Traffic on Rustaveli Avenue, the central road that runs straight through the heart of the city, literally never stops.